Hello, this is Prof. Aram, and in this video, I'm going to go over the primary goal of financial manager, meaning that when the CFO goes to work every day, what should be the goal of that CFO for that corporation or for any type of business for that matter. Okay, so whenever I go over this topic, I ask these questions from the students. What should be the goal of a corporation? Maximizing profits or profitability, maximizing market share, revenues, social good, or minimizing the cost, or maximizing the current value of the company's stock, right? And every once in a while, a student says profitability, right? But the thing about profitability is that it can be very vague. It's not very clear and concise and to the point. So, for example, when we say maximizing profits, are you looking at short-term profits, long-term profits, accounting profit, or economic profit? So there are ways to misinterpret this goal, right? And of course, managers can use this they can interpret this any way that benefits them, right? So it's not very clear and concise as a goal. Or maximizing market share. So maximizing market share for the sake of maximizing market share doesn't make any sense. You do it to get pricing power. For example, in the 1980s, American Airlines announced that they're going to become the market leader in domestic air travel. And they did. They had flights to every little town in the US, right? But at the end of the day, a very small airline like Southwest Airline was the one who made profits because in case of the Southwest Airline, they had just one flight from Dallas to Houston. Going back and forth, the same flight was full of passengers. Whereas in the case of American Airlines, a lot of flights to those small remote towns in the US were empty, right? So they were losing money on those flights. So maximizing market share for the sake of maximizing market share doesn't make any sense at all, right? Or some students say, okay, maximizing sales or revenues, right? You can squeeze your customers to increase the sales, or you can, engage in some activities that increases sales, but usually those activities are not sustainable in the long run, okay? Or maximizing social good. In recent years, this becomes a very hot topic actually in finance. Some companies try to basically move from the traditional goal of the firm to these type of uh, goals that's maximizing social good. But the problem with maximizing social good is that these are hard to measure, right? These are hard to measure, okay? And they can be, managers can misuse them as well, right? Some students say, okay, minimizing cost, but that also, there are some ways to minimize the cost that are not sustainable for the growth of the company. For example, you can postpone maintenance of your machinery. You're minimizing the cost, but it's not going to be sustainable in the long run. In the long run, it actually can hurt your company. Or you can basically cut your R&D budget, right? You're minimizing the cost, but in the long run, you may not have enough patents or enough new products to basically grow your company, right? And that's why we are going to look at the last one, maximizing the current value of the company's stock, or maximizing the value of the firm, or maximizing the wealth of the shareholders. This should be the goal of the firm, right? And I don't have any problem with the ones in the top, as long as you acknowledge that these are intermediate goals, right? If you do this one, you are almost always going to meet all these criteria, all these goals as well, right? So the traditional goal of financial manager is to maximize the wealth of the current shareholders of the company. This is very important, right? And the good thing about the price of the share, right? If your goal is to maximize the price of the share, is that it is clear and concise. There is no room for the managers to manipulate the price of the stock, right? And like the impact or the effect of the any news on the price is almost immediate, right? So when you hear that the managers are involved in some shady activities in terms of, let's say they do earnings management, they massage the data in the balance sheet and income statement of the company, and investors become aware of that, you will see the effect of that in the price of the stock almost immediately, right? But if your goal was to maximize profits, you had to wait 3 months to get the quarterly report from the company, right? So it's not very immediate, okay? So the goal of the traditional goal of the financial manager is to maximize the price of the shares or maximize the wealth of the shareholders of the corporation, okay? So just keep this in mind, memorize it. This is the goal of the financial manager. I hope you find this video useful and thank you for watching.